Good morning, student. Let us take lesson number 4, the Mauryan Empire. In the Mauryan Empire, we have to study about the different sources about the Earth Sastra, the Indiga, the Ashoka edicts, and Sachi Stupa, about the political history and administrations of Chandragupta Maurya, Ashoka, and Ashoka Dhamma. So let's start the lesson, the Mauryas. The Mauryan Empire was founded in the 4th century BC by Chandragupta Maurya, who organized a powerful army and laid the foundations of the vast empire by overthrowing the Nandas from Magad and the Greek satraps from the northwest frontier and unified a large part of the Indian subcontinent under his centralized government. His successors, Bindusara, kept the Mauryan Empire intact and further extended its boundaries. The reigns of Bindusara's son Ashoka constitutes one of the brightest periods in the history of the Mauryans. He built many marvels in art and architectures, and some of which have survived up to this day. So let us study about the two sources, the literary sources and the archaeological sources. In the literary sources, we can talk about the Arthasastra and of Kautilya, the most important source, Arthasastra written by Kautilya, who is also known as Vishnugupta or Chanakya. He was the advisor and prime minister of Chandragupta, and Arthasastra is written in Sanskrit. It is a comprehensive manual that deals with the political, rule of diplomacy, principle of administration, and other such political topics. The book was discovered in 1909 and its English translation is now available. So it describes about the administrations and the political history of the Mauryans. The second source is Indiga. Megasthenes was Greek ambassador at the court of Chandragupta Maurya, and he had been sent to the court by Seleucus, the Greek ruler. He wrote a book named Indiga, which contained his impressions of which he heard and saw during his stay in India. Megasthenes' original Indiga has been lost, but its fragment still survive in the writing of later Greek authors like Arians and Diodorus and Strabo. About the archaeological sources, the Ashoka edicts are there. Edicts is a decree, which decree means law issued by the sovereigns. It forms the most important source of Mauryan history and are the oldest, best preserved, precisely dated record of India. They are inscribed on rock and pillar throughout the country and included 14 major rock edicts, 7 pillar edicts, and a number of minor edicts. The inscriptions on the edicts provide a useful information or insight in the life and ideals of Ashoka. The most important event of Ashoka reigns was the conquest of Kalinga. The indescribable sufferings and atrocity of the Kalinga war deeply touched Ashoka conscience, and he made a solemn resolve not to take up arms anymore. The war drums and were heard only the echo of Dharmagosha, the call to non-violence and universal peace. We can also talk about the Sachi Stupa. The stupa is a semi-spherical solid domes-like structure made of unburned brick and rocks. The Buzit stupa has a special significance as it represents the spiritual body of Buddha containing his relics such as hair, teeth, and bones. A casket containing these relics is placed at the base of the dome, and the foundation of the Sachi Stupa was laid by Ashoka at Sachi, about 45 km from Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh. There are 4 gateways in 4 directions, and they have curved panel depicting events from the life of Buddha and some tales from Jatak's story. Buddha represented by symbols like the peepal tree, lotus, wheel, and the pillars surrounded by capitals which contain sculptures of lion. So this is about the literary and the archaeological sources. Let us continue with the Mauryan Empire. So let us talk about the Mauryan Empire, about Chandragupta Maurya. He was the founder of the Mauryan Empire and not much is known about his childhood. According to legend, he has been dismissed from the service of the Nandas who ruled before him. He made Kotalia at Takshila, who later became famous as Chanakya, was the son of a Brahmins. Chanakya too was wronged by the Nandas and he therefore joined hand with Chandragupta Maurya to destroy the Nandas. After a long series of battles with Chandragupta, the Nanda's capital Patliputra fell and the lead in the emergence of a new dynasty known as the Mauryan dynasty, with Chandragupta Maurya as the emperor. Alexander, the Greek ruler, had conquered many states in the northwestern part of India, and after his death, his territory in the Indian subcontinent was taken over by Chandragupta Maurya. With the help of Chanakya, he embarked on the consolidation process of his empire. In 305 BC, India was again attacked by the Seleucus, a former general under Alexander, but Chandragupta defeated him, and according to the treaty signed with Seleucus, Chandragupta got Kabul, Kandahar, Herat and Baluchistan from the Greek commander. Seleucus also gave his daughter Helena in marriage to Chandragupta. Chandragupta Empire extended from Kabul and Kandahar in the northwest to Mysore in the south, and from Bengal in the east to the Saurashtra in the west. According to the Jain traditions, after ruling for 24 years, he renounced the world and his kingdom was taken over by his son Bindusara. Bindusara also succeeded his father, and the Greek historian Antichus called him a slice of foe because he conquered many parts of South India after defeating 16 rulers, and during his rules he faced a revolt in Takshila also. But it was quelled by his son Ashoka, who was the governor there. Bindusara maintained friendly relations with the ruler of Greece, and after Bindusara, Ashoka succeeded to the throne after his father Bindusara death. The turn Ashoka took the title of the beloved of the god and Priyadarshini, the beautiful one. One of the turning points in the life of Ashoka was the Battle of Kalinga. According to Megasthenes, the Greek historians, at the court of Chandragupta Maurya, the ruler of Kalinga had a powerful army of infantry, cavalry, elephant. Ashoka fought tough resistance, and according to the Rock Edict 13, both sides suffered losses, but peoples of Kalinga suffered the most. Ashoka won the war, and it has a far-reaching consequence in his life. Consequence of the Kalinga war in the life of Ashoka. The death and destruction caused by the Kalinga brought about a great change in the life and personal and political life of Ashoka, and he abandoned the policy of conquest by force. Kalinga changed Ashoka's personal life. He stopped hunting and eating meats and abandoned the life of luxury. He declared Buddhism as the state religion, and the prisoner of war were used for agriculture work only. Ashoka also extended his empire after his Kalinga victories. His empire extended from Hindu coast in the northwest to river Pinar in the south. About the Mauryan administrations, the administration was divided into the civil and the central administration with the provincial administration. The central administration, the Mauryan government, was centralized and was managed by several officers of different rank. The king was the supreme authority, and his throne was hereditary. He also was the supreme judge. Megasthenes, the great ambassador at the court of Chandragupta Maurya, in his book Indiga and Chandragupta in the Arthashastra, tell about the Mauryan administrations. So there were 6 provinces with their capital. Magad was Patliputra, Gandhar, Takshila, Avanti was Ujjain, and southern provinces was Swarangiri and Kalinga, Takshilas. There were many states ruled by Kumara or the Aryaputra, and only princes were appointed to the positions there. At the same time, the district administration was also there, and into district and janpadas, and administration of the cities, the revenue systems was there, and the most important were the spy systems. Chandragupta Maurya has a wide network of spices in his empire. The military administrations maintains, the Mauryans maintains a huge army consisting of infantry, cavalry, elephants, and chariots. The king was the commander-in-chief of the army, and the whole army was under a military commissions of 30 members. The Mauryan also had well-laden recruitment policy, and the soldiers were paid salaries, that is, in cash. About the Ashoka Dhama, after the Kalinga war, since Ashoka gave up war, and he has a religious, which is called a moral code of conduct or common code of conduct, or an ethical order. According to the religious and according to the principle of the Dharma, respect to elder, love to children, ahimsa, that is non-violence, good deed and good karma, and taught people to respect all religion. He disapproved imperial rituals. The impact of the Ashoka Dharma is that there was religious unity, their moral values were among the peoples, the crimes also ended in his area, and they work for the public welfare. This is about the Ashoka Dharma, and this is about the lesson. So, the Mauryan Empire was established by Chandragupta Maurya, and with the end of the Kalinga War, the strategy of the war also came to an end, as Ashoka embraced Buddhism and made it his state religion, and he forbidden people from hunting and going into war. Now the people start living a peaceful life. There was peace everywhere, and the moral values were among the people. This is about the religions. Thank you, students.